a more hydrated skin is going to be the best skin of your life, and it's going to allow you to wear makeup easier. If you're having other treatments, those other treatments are going to settle better. Hydration is the biggest factor that we need to focus on with our skin.
Today, I'm at HydraFacial's London Flagship, and I'm here to have a chat with Lauren Gibson, who is the Education and Training Director. And she's going to tell me a bit more about the HydraFacial and also about their latest Cndo device. So Lauren, what is a HydraFacial?
Well, a HydraFacial is a non-invasive treatment that gets personalized according to what the client's skin is showing the therapist or HydraFacialist on the day.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 steps, which is cleanse, extract, and hydrate. And we really want to make sure that we're putting a lot of attention on each step to give that client that ultimate glow when they get off the treatment bed.
So it's a really thorough treatment, isn't it? It's one designed to give results.
100%. So if I think about the steps, with cleanse, we're really making sure that we're cleaning that skin, removing those dead skin cells and that extra buildup of oil. When it comes to extractions, I think everybody loves extractions but hates to get them. Ours is a pain-free extraction. So really cleaning out that pore and getting those blackheads out of the skin. And then we move on to our hydrate, which is saturating the skin with a booster that's going to help with their main skin concern. And layering antioxidants on as a final form of protection.
Now, when you say cleansing, and we talk about cleansing in facials, you often think it's just pushing cream around the face and cleaning it off, but HydraFacial has got this extraordinary technology, this Vortex technology, which uses water to really get in there and do the work.
We've got our Vortex fusion technology, which is basically a few things. So first of all, we're working with a closed loop system. This means any of the gunk we're taking out the skin and any of the botanicals and antioxidants and boosters we're putting on the skin is kept separate, so that's quite important.
Okay. Yes.
Then we've got this incredible vacuum, so a force that is pushing the product on, but then pulling the product out as well.
Okay.
And then each individual tip that we use a variety of throughout the treatment has got a specific design to ensure that whether it's cleansing, it might have a spiral design. If it's extracting, it might have a design to focus more on pulling that pore out. And then of course for our serum, we want to make sure that we're really saturating the skin. So they all work hand in hand to deliver this Vortex fusion technology, which is what sets us apart from all the rest.
Yeah.
We don't want the skin to be super saturated. It's got an absorption tolerance. So the skin's only going to absorb so much. And ultimately, we just want to have a glow on the skin at the end of the treatment.
Yeah, now talking of glow, tell me about the results you get with this.
Everybody's skin is completely different. So I wish that we could say, everyone will get a glow for 2 weeks, but that's not the case. So it really depends on your lifestyle factors as well. We're seeing the hydration and glow as soon as the customer gets off the bed. So it's that immediate gratification and results. And then that glow can last anywhere from up to 5 to 7 to 14 days, depending on what that client is doing as their home care as well.
And it's giving this glow because the skin is so much fresher, exfoliated, more consistent? Is that what's doing
so we've taken off those dead skin cells, which often gives us that dull, dehydrated appearance. And then we've pumped the skin with hydration, but not just hydration superficially. Depending on the booster that we use, we've put hydration or protective ingredients right down into the bottom layers of the skin. So as those new skin cells move up, they're making sure that they're staying plump and hydrated to continue that glow.
And how many treatments should you have to get the best results? Should you do one a week, one a month?
So ideally we want to do one every skin cell cycle, which is usually 28 days, but we know that that changes as you get older. So it's recommended every 4 to 6 weeks. Unless you're planning a big event, then you can work with your HydraFacialist to make sure that you create a customer journey for your skin. So there might be a goal you've got in mind, and then we can absolutely work HydraFacial into that. So this is our handpiece, or our wand.
These are the different tips, aren't they?
Yeah. This is what we're controlling our flow of serum with by adjusting the handpiece. There's a closed loop system. So Mandy's going to take the white one out, and this is where we would pop in the boosters or the peel, and that's then going to pull the serum through onto that tip and then onto the skin, with the other tube being your extraction tube. We're applying a solution called Active 4 on. It does have a bit of lactic acid in it, so we're already starting the exfoliation step from this first step. So with these steps, the tips do have a slight mechanical exfoliation. So you're getting the chemical exfoliation from the product, but as well as the mechanical exfoliation from the ridges of the tip. So the orange tip is a bit more abrasive from a mechanical exfoliation point of view, so the skin might go a bit redder. This is the peel. So we're using Peel Sensitive on Sophie, and it's a light feathering or flicking motion. Now we're moving on to extractions. So this tip specifically is designed to be able to unclog a pore, so the movement is slightly slower. We do also use salicylic acid with this step. So salicylic acid is really good for breaking down that buildup of oil and dead skin cells, but also calming down any inflammation.
Now you mentioned boosters.
Yes.
Tell me about these boosters.
So we've got quite a few boosters now. I think we've got over 16, depending on which market you're in. But we've got HydraFacial boosters, which are our flagship boosters. And then we've also got some partnership boosters where we've actually partnered with other skincare brands to create a booster that is really connected to their brand and their philosophy.
Yeah.
Now these boosters are there to address the client's main concern.
Okay.
So if they've got a concern of fine lines and wrinkles, or maybe underlying inflammation or redness, your HydraFacialist would then do a consultation and pick a booster that's going to be best for that skin.
So these are active ingredients?
Active ingredients, and you know, if you had to compare it to steps in another treatment, it would almost be like the serum step of a treatment.
Okay.
So kind of fusing those concentrated active ingredients into the skin to make them work on a deeper layer. And then of course we've got the application of our LED light at the end, which also helps with that further activation of those ingredients. So every step we're doing, we've really researched to make sure that it's going to give an ultimate skin health result.
There are even clinical studies around this, aren't there?
Yeah, so we do have a clinical study actually working with acne, or the condition of acne, and looking at how HydraFacial can help treat the appearance and development of acne.
Wow.
So we did a study with HydraFacial and our clarifying booster. And what was incredible about this is when you looked at a treatment or a couple of courses done on one patient, we were able to see that change in acne development where all the signs that impact acne were being addressed.
Now this is a really high-tech machine, isn't it? And the Cndo is the latest development of this. Tell me about the Cndo.
So the Cndo is our latest device. Cndo actually means connected in Greek.
Okay.
And it was a bit of a project name when we first started it, but we just thought it was so fitting because our Cndo device is actually Wi-Fi enabled and based around technology. So one of the first energy-based devices to have this, which means anytime we make changes to the machine, we update protocols, we want to do a quick fix, it's as simple as updating it like you would update your telephone.
Okay.
So we really wanted to make it easy for our providers and for our HydraFacialists to work with the best technology and just do what they love, which is treating skin.
So what about sensitive skin? Is that okay to have a HydraFacial?
Yes, I think, you know, with sensitive skin, it's important for the HydraFacialist to understand the scale of that sensitivity. So I've got a sensitive skin and I have a HydraFacial every 4 weeks. But we do also have the Peel Sensitive, which is an incredible product that we've brought in to really treat a bit more of a delicate, sensitive skin and get the same results. So we've got lactobionic acid and phytic acid in there, which still exfoliates, but it's gentle.
You know, with these high-tech machines, I mean, there is a good deal of counterfeiting in this whole area, but you've got a brilliant new scheme for verified providers, so people know that they're getting the real deal. How do people know about this?
Yeah, so I think our Verified Provider Program is a great initiative. It's really a way of acknowledging the HydraFacialists or the HydraFacial community that are working with our brand, using the correct products and focusing on changing skin. But also for the consumers, it's good for them to know that if they are going and booking a HydraFacial, they are actually getting the real deal. So if you go onto our website and look under Find a Provider, you can actually look at the clinic that you've chosen to go to. If they're on our Find a Provider, it means they are accredited, they are following our protocol, they are coming for regular training, and really are invested in the real HydraFacial. What I think is important for consumers is that you're choosing the clinic that's going to give you the best results, checking if they are on the verified provider program, making sure you've done your research, and choosing to invest in your skin. We've just resurfaced the skin and brought up all the new baby skin cells. So we need to make sure that when the client is going to go out into the world, that the antioxidants are really protecting the skin and keeping it hydrated and glowy.
Now, on a less serious note, everybody's obsessed with the Gunky. What is the Gunky?
So the Gunky is a jar that sits at the back of the machine.
Yeah.
And basically this is where, I spoke earlier about the closed loop system, but this is where all the gunk gets pulled out.
Oh, okay.
So whether that's your dead skin cells, your comedones or pores, your oily skin or sebum, that is where the customer gets to see what has actually happened in this treatment and what has come off my skin. Now it sounds gross.
So there's that kind of perverse pleasure in thinking, oh, but better out than in, right?
100%. You know, you get mixed reactions with the Gunky jar, but I think what's so great about it is that, yes, I can see my skin looks fantastic, but I can actually see what it looked like before. So the Gunky jar is really powerful.
And people do the Gunky selfie, don't they?
Always.
And they get quite competitive about it.
Yeah, they do. They do. And we've got a built-in light now with a magnifier on the Gunky jar, so it just makes it that much more fun to look at your dead skin cells.
So that was an in-depth look at exactly what a HydraFacial is. And thank you so much, Lauren, for explaining it all so clearly.
Thank you.